This is the northern end of the Highland range, or northern extent. Here's the northern high point. It's going to be a little tough going ahead. So we've got these high bajadas here that undulate and slope throughout, coming off the crest. The crest itself is looking pretty rugged, but I know I'll find a way southwards towards that fin. That's the next immediate destination. Plant-wise, it's pretty barren ridgetop. We have Yucca shededra, we have Cylindra puntias, we have Pharaoh cactus, Hevaphedras, and not much in the way of annuals, even though if we just go off the ridge crest, we'll find super blooms of annuals. So I don't fully understand what's going on with these ridgetops. They're not that much higher. They're not that much colder. They're windier for sure, but just comparatively a paucity of annuals. Just barren, sharp things on a lot of these ridges. This ridge in the northern Highland range has been impossible to walk on top of. So I've been contouring along the upper slopes, as you can kind of see here. And I'm gonna hope that continues to work out for me, or else I may have to drop down at some point. Here's a hoodoo, Nevada style. I wouldn't try to climb it though, or else part of it would crumble off with you on it, I'm sure. Mojave's nice and green down there. Early April and really responding to all the rain we had across swaths of March. This is a pretty incredible ridge, and I'm gonna see if it works out at all on this side. Still definitely a Mojave character here, Eriogonum and Opuntia of the lower Mojave, even though we're well above 4,000 feet here right now. I don't know. What do you think? Yeah, I think it works for now. Seems to me like a lot of the Pharaoh cactus start off multiple pups like that. And only one, perhaps the biggest one, is gonna survive ultimately. Become more solitary. Some pretty incredible scenery out there on the east slope of the range. This is the type of stuff you see from the highway that makes the main ridge look completely impassable. But kind of just below the lower slopes of the main ridge, it's very passable to contour along, climb along. We'll see what happens, but that's the kind of stuff that makes it look scarier than it is. And it's just quite beautiful from this angle. Turns out the main ridge is actually kind of gentle here. Things starting to get a little precarious up here, but we still have gentle enough slopes that moving along on the ridge top still. We'll see what happens. Every bump is a new surprise. See what's on the other side, if it's passable or not. Because it's quite a bit of impassable terrain out here in general. Here's a treat for you. So in between these precipices along the ridge, we have a third species of yucca in the Highland range. You can see that, like Yucca shadidra, it has pretty long leaves, but unlike Yucca shadidra, it doesn't really branch out above ground. Little glaucous. The margins are really rolling off the charts there. And these all make this species Yucca baccata in part. Again, Yucca baccata here. Doesn't really branch above ground. Leaf margins peeling extensively. Still managing to stay on the ridge top somehow through little bridges and such like this. This group of Yucca baccata had the fortune to land in a place like this. That's the view all day, every day. Someone's made a path for me, bighorn sheep. It's gonna fade out of use for me pretty quickly. There's another one for that matter, but every little bit helps on a rugged ridgeline like this. It's flat. Like your feet aren't wobbling on rocks the whole time, on stones. So it has that going for it. Yeah, it's pretty much disappeared. I'll pick up pieces and traces of it here and there again. Here we go. They probably travel in all kinds of directions from here. I'm continuing along the ridge, which looks quite a lot doable now. Quite a bit more doable, I should say, than all that stuff back there. So we'll see what happens. Walking's a little tough down there until I found this sweet trail. Look at this thing. Even sheep like to contour rather than going over the rugged ridgetop. Here in the southern end, the Highlands range, things are much gentler, as you can tell. Yucca baccata is pretty darn common around here. But I have this great fortune of stumbling upon a pretty well-worn Bighorn Trail. It's a little rockier than we humans might consider a trail as, but it's working mighty fine for me. Basically making trail speeds right here as opposed to off-trail speeds. Here we go. The Joshua trees have returned. Haven't seen one of these in probably 2 days. Very common down below there where I passed a couple days ago. Here's the first one I've seen, and it looks like there's quite a few of them up on those ridges ahead. So firmly back in Yucca brevifolia territory, with the other two yucca species still rather common. Even though not seeing Yucca shedidra right here, it's actually still everywhere. Just about wrapping up here in the Highland range, back in the Joshua tree forest where we started, and following a rather nice Bighorn trail, I have to say. I mean, it's almost built quality. But no, this is just what happens when the same creatures keep walking the same paths over and over again. Kind of a stupid place to sit here, but it's the only shady spot. Pads of Cylindropuntia getting stuck to me left and right. I wonder if pack rats carry coronaviruses though. Oh, what on earth do you think we have here? There's something buried under there, but who can say what? It's like some kind of drainage going under there, as if it's holding some water. Oh no.